Milo, is that you?
There, I think I got it. You know what I did? I turned the volume down. Whenever I turn the volume down, I always think to myself, it's not working properly. And in actual fact, it's working fine. I've just turned the volume down.
There you go. Did you manage to press the button to go?
I did. I pressed the button. We're 32 seconds in.
Beautiful. We haven't accomplished much yet. So, but anyhow, I assume we're here for a reason.
Yeah. First off, let's get the standard business out of the way. Is this the first podcast since the last podcast?
Looking at the big whiteboard across the, granted, it's one of the dry erase whiteboards, but I wrote on there a permanent marker. This is the first podcast since the last podcast.
Perfect.
Yes, I thought so.
And I did a few weeks back, maybe 5, maybe 6, maybe 10, who knows?
Some point in the past?
Yeah, it was the part 1 of the Crescent Chronicles.
All right.
And I did the intro and the outro with our buddy Rich the Wiz Wisniewski. And that is how you pronounce it, by the way. It is Rich.
All right. How did that go? Wisniewski? It is Rich? Okay.
Yeah, he's getting quite comfortable in front of the microphone. You better watch yourself, buddy.
He's also quite the photographer as well.
He's quite the photographer, for sure. But you better watch yourself. He's getting pretty cocky in front of that microphone.
I may get the option down to the AAA team.
So, because it was a Monday show, near the end with like about 5 minutes to go, he says, "Is this show going to be on Monday?" And I went, "Yeah, this is on the free channel, so everybody can hear it." And he goes, "Well, then is it sponsored?" And I'm like, jeez.
Oh, man. There we go.
I completely forgot.
So is this a Monday show?
Yeah, it's an episode.
Yeah,
we're doing an interview. We're doing an interview with a distinguished guest.
Okay, well, there you go. Aren't all our guests distinguished?
Well, it depends on... No, they're not. No.
Okay. We try, but sometimes it falls short of the mark.
Yeah,
it's caught right up against the wall.
Well, yeah, like would you say Brad Williamson is distinguished?
Well,
I'd say he's just a pain in the butt mostly.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to extinguish. He's different.
Yeah, he's one of those Iron City N scale guys.
Yes,
and they're a great bunch. They met up with. By the way, they met up with Rich's son Andrew, and made him feel quite at home at a.
That's right, because Rich's son moved over that way somewhere, didn't he?
Yeah, he's over there in Pittsburgh working for PNC Bank apparently, and for all your mortgage needs, see Andrew at the PNC Bank.
There you go.
So the Iron City train guy. So yeah, I wouldn't say. I mean, Brad's a nice guy and all that, but distinguished would be a real stretch for Brad.
Okay. So he's average? Moderately adequate?
So, Brad, I know you're listening to this, and if you're thinking to yourself, am I the new whipping boy for the AML Nation? The answer is yes.
Yeah, so you're certainly in the running.
Yeah, you're certainly in the running. Yeah. You're polling well on that particular...
The scouts are out there, and yes.
So you know what I'm wondering about that Brad Williamson guy?
What's that?
I wonder if he has any Rapido trains.
Your fast track to model railroading fun.
Rapido trains, your fast track to model railroading fun.
There you go. Now we're getting somewhere.
That jingle is so cool. I love that jingle.
Which one? There's two of them.
I love both of them.
Yeah, I like the one that Tom wrote. The Queso Cowboy wrote.
Yeah.
Could be N, could be H-O. And done in a Latino voice. That's also a Rapido Trains.
Your fast track to model railroading fun.
If it's N, if it's H-O, the fast track is Rapido.
There, now we got them in twice.
There we go.
we're off to the races.
We're off to the races. We'll slip it in there a few more times. We talk about how well the DuPont Chevy Esso Rapido Trains Monte Carlo was running.
You know that guy? Have you ever watched The Dude Show?
The Dude Show is very entertaining.
Did I interrupt you while you were taking a drink?
You did. I've taken a sip out of my big mason jar of ice water. Sorry.
Well, that's okay. No need to apologize. Everybody needs to drink. Everybody needs to refresh from time to time.
Yes.
So anyways, you ever watch the Dude Show? I was on the Dude Show there not that long ago, a month or so ago.
I saw some pictures of you on the Dude Show sporting about 5 pairs of glasses.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. And that show went on for an hour and 9 minutes.
Wow. Yeah. There you go.
But you know, have you ever noticed behind the scenes, the guy that actually controls everything and makes it run smoothly is that guy with the beard that sits over there on the left side of the screen?
Yes. He seems to be the boss.
Yeah. He's the guy. He's the man.
He's the captain in charge of the ship.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. He says, "Hey, dude, tie her off."
Yeah.
Anyways, that guy's name is Joshua Barton, and that's who we're going to interview tonight. We're going to find out all the secrets of the What's Neat This Week thing, and we're going to find out what Joshua's life is all about, find out how he's interested in model railroading, and everything else connected to it.
We're going to get some barbecue secrets out of him?
Well, maybe. I don't know.
Well, we'll have to ask him if he can come up with a special AML barbecue sauce or something like that.
I don't even know if he's a barbecue guy anymore. Get him in the studio.
We'll find out.
Yeah, get him in the studio. That's the first question we'll ask him.
All right. Hang on a minute. Hey, Josh, come on. Watch your head on the pipe, though.
All right. These stairs, I didn't know there were so many of them coming up. Jeez.
Oh, it's brutal. I've been pushing for the air-cooled stair lift, but management's overruled me so far.
The green room's really nice, but the shrimp match the color of the walls. I would have your executive chef look at that.
Well, wait a minute. I thought the green room was now done in blue and gold, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, it's still. Well, no. I think we left the green room.
Technically, it's called the green room. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. We left one square of the original green.
Oh, that's right. Dyed the shrimp.
Yeah, that's right. If your shrimp looks this green, it's perfect.
Don't eat it. Yes.
What's up, everybody? Thanks for having me.
Joshua Barton, the man himself. What was the question we were going to ask him?
Can he make an AML barbecue sauce?
No, what's the secret to barbecuing or something?
Oh, whatever.
Are you even doing that anymore, Josh?
I mean, I did it before I worked as SugarFire Joshua, and I will do it for years to come as just Joshua.
Just Josh.
So, but I am no longer officially with the company of SugarFire Smokehouse in St. Louis, Missouri.
So, what are you going to do now when they introduce you on the Dude Show on that What's Neat This Week show? What are you? I'm going to be called the artist formerly known as SugarFire. Oh, okay.
I have a little symbol and everything. So
beautiful.
How long you been on that show? How long you been on the Dude Show?
Since about 2017, I guess.
Like 6 years.
Somewhere right around there. So I wasn't. I think I came in the 40s or 50s, episode 40 or 50, somewhere around there is when I started hanging out.
Oh, I thought you meant 19.
And how did you get involved with his show?
Well, so I was listening to Lionel's podcast, A Modeler's Life, and Ken Patterson was his guest, and he was interviewing him. And as I was driving around listening to the podcast, Ken describes a bridge that's in St. Louis, and he describes how he had his a piece of his layout on top of the car on the bridge at rush hour, and how he's trying to get shots of the background with the car in it, the model car, and the model car blows off of the bridge right after he gets the picture and dives into the water, never to be seen again. Well, as he's talking about this, I'm visualizing the exact same bridge because I drove over that bridge every day. And so that's how I even learned that Ken Patterson was in St. Louis, was through Lionel's show. So a little after I heard that, I looked him up and his address and found out where he lives and drove to his driveway and sat in his driveway at about 5 o'clock on a Saturday night and didn't have the guts to drive up and knock on the door. So I left and went home. And a few months later, I met a friend of mine. His name's Austin Allard. And he's on the show sometimes as well and says, "Oh, you want to go over there? I'm over there all the time." So that was how I got in on the Ken Patterson show.
So how did you actually get on the show?
I just hung out. I hung out for a few months, and he's asked me questions, and I have an audio and visual background. I did a lot of audio visual at country clubs and stuff like that, so I knew the basis of what he was working with, and I was articulate, and I could use my words on the show eloquently, I guess. And he just had me on more and more, and everybody liked me, so I just kind of started hanging out.
Okay, so was the emphasis on you were articulate? Or you are articulate?
Oh, I hope I still am articulate. But that remains to be seen. I'll let you guys decide that.
So then you just started hanging out on the show, and then eventually you became a permanent fixture.
Yeah, I had a little thing to show here and a little thing to show there, and as Ken and my friendship grew, he just kind of felt a little, I don't know, I can tell when he's trailing off a little bit, and I kind of, get him back on track sometimes. So that's why he likes me around, I think.
I didn't think I did very good on the last show.
Oh, you were great. I loved all the glasses, by the way.
So I don't think I told you. So here's the conversation I had with Ken. He calls me up like a week or you had texted me and asked me if I could be on that day. And then he calls me like a week or two ahead of time. And I said, "Oh, well, that's the first day of my long distance walk where I walk 100 kilometers in like 5 days." And he goes, and I said, "That's like the first day." So I said, "That day I walk, quite a ways." He says, "Yeah, but the show's not going to start until 9 o'clock your time." And I'm like, "But I'll be really tired." "So you'll be on then?" Finally, I gave up, and I just went, "Yeah, sure, whatever."
That's all you can do with Ken Patterson.
So how do you know Mike Budde?
From the show. I met him through Ken, and him and I just developed a great relationship. I mean, I consider him one of my best friends.
I don't think Mike's ever listened to this podcast, has he?
He doesn't know what podcasts are.
Right, exactly.
So I had him download a couple of them, so he's been listening to them, and he's hesitant to come on the show just because his computer skills are very small, and he's worried that he's gonna, not be able to set things up. So I told him that if he'd like, he could use my computer and my stuff, and I would set everything up for him so you could interview him, because I'll tell you, he's an amazing person.
He seems like a really good guy. But the reason I was asking, if he listens to the show is for this particular reason. So then, in other words, you and Mike became buddies.
Yes.
Which I'm sure Mike has heard 1,000 times or 2,000 times. So if he's not listening, that's perfect. Then he won't hear me say that.
Well, so I wanted to start doing a segment on the What's Neat This Week show, and I wanted it to be called Mike Budde and Me. There was a character in the 80s that was a little plush toy called My Buddy, and it has a little theme song, My Buddy and Me. So I was going to change the My Buddy to Mike Budde and have that as our theme song. But it didn't really go over very well with Ken. So,
so you were like, you were pitching an idea to Ken, but he didn't like it.
I pitch ideas nonstop. It's whether they stick to the wall or not that is the question.
Do you think he actually even knows what day it is?
Nope. Sometimes. Sometimes you got to call him and be like, "Hey, it's 2:30 on Saturday. I'll be over at 7. Oh, it's Saturday. Okay, sounds good."
So, what's it like? You don't mind if I ask you questions about Ken, because that's how I got to know you. Was through the
No, not at all. There, I will answer most of them, I'm sure.
And we'll get around to finding out about your whole model railroad career too, because that.
Right.
But I'm going through your Facebook page, and you're such an adorable young man.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, or adorable. I didn't say good looking. I said adorable, like a plush toy, just like
yeah. That's been drugged through the mud.
Yeah. There you go. So what was I going to ask you? I was going to ask you a question. I can't remember what it was. What was the question, Bruce?
I'll be here all night.
You're going to ask him about the show.
Was I?
That's what you said. You want to ask some questions about the show.
Yeah. Now I can't remember what the question was.
Well, we figured out how we got there. Now we need to figure out some more.
Yeah, it wasn't that important. It couldn't have been that important if I can't remember what it was. Boy, can you ever imagine, Joshua, if this show was like, can you imagine? I used to think to myself, like, we've been on the air for like 9 years, and I used to think to myself, boy, this show, in a few years, this show's going to get better. But it turns out, really, it's just gotten worse.
Yeah.
I feel the same. Yeah, I feel the same way.
Well, thanks very much.
No, I'll tell you, Lionel, I've been listening to your show since the first show. And I mean, you blow me away all the time. You're asking those questions that, you're asking the questions that everyone wants to know, but no one ever got from any other show.
I know.
And I mean, it's
the best way to describe it is I've been wanting to have a conversation with you for a long time. And this is nothing more than my recorded conversations. This is a conversation I've wanted to have with you. But you don't call people up and say, hey, would you like to talk for an hour and a half? But if you have a podcast to put around it, then you can go, hey, you want to be on the podcast? And people are like, yeah, sure, blah, blah, blah. And
you always you ask the right questions. And I mean, I feel most of the people that you interview, I feel like I know them already when I meet them. I
know. That's the best part, isn't it?
Yeah, it sure is.
And then the friendships you make from it are great. I mean, you must have, aside from Mike. Oh yeah, I was going to ask you about now I remember what the question was. But aside from Mike, I'm sure there's been other people you've made pretty good friendships with. Oh,
tons. I mean, I can't even name everybody. George Bogatalk. I mean, Steve Hurt. Sam Dennehy. There's just, I mean, so many I can't even list them all. But they're great. And we have an RPM meet here in St. Louis, and that seems to be the catalyst for all these great friendships, not just the show. The show's great, and you'll have, different people popping up here and there, and they are just the most amazing and talented people ever, but the RPM meet seems to be, it's kind of like a family reunion every year, know?
Yeah.
And I'm so blessed to have so many friends through model railroading.
Well, and that has changed because of media, the digital media world, where it's so easy to connect. You and I would have never known each other had it not been for digital media.
You're very, very correct. I mean, here, 15 years ago, I was a lone wolf playing with N-scale in my basement and, didn't even grasp the capacity of the people in the hobby. And it's just, it blows me away.
Let me ask you my old tired out question that I talk about so much, but it must have something to do with I've been in the hobby for so long, and I feel the same way. The last 10 years of the hobby for me have been the best 10 years ever. And I've had some great times in the hobby. I mean, I had a great operating layout. We had a great crew, and we did that for years and years. And I worked with Model Railroader for years, and I've done all sorts of things. But the last 10 years with the ease of making friends and meeting people, the hobby's like 10 times better than ever. Oh
yeah, definitely. I was tired of being all by myself. I wanted the camaraderie. I wanted the challenges of, let's have a battle of our models and, see who can do it different,
Right.
I enjoy that.
So are you still modeling N scale?
No, I quit modeling N scale about 7 or 8 years ago. I sold everything lock, stock, and barrel that I had for N scale and slowly started to build an HO empire.
An empire?
And so, yeah, of course, you got to have an empire if you're going to be a railroad tycoon.
All right.
So someone can say you're an empire builder?
Yeah, that's right. See, he's got it.
Well, within this empire, do you have any Rapido trains?
You're fast track to model railroading fun.
Rapido trains, your fast track to model railroading fun.
You know I do.
Don't ever interrupt our commercial.
Oh, sorry. Yes.
Do you think in a few years this Modeler's Life show will get better?
Oh, I think it's marginally adequate.
Yeah, I don't think we'll ever get past marginally adequate. For years I used to hope that we would, but I don't see it.
Look, I like to hold the bar real low so it's easy to step over. Okay.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
So there you go. See, that was my high school years, and I hit high school right at the start, about 2 years into the hippie movement. And they came up with this brilliant idea that if you got a pass, like you got 50 in any subject, you wouldn't have to write the final exam. So that's where I landed, man. I landed in the mid 50s, anywhere between 52 and 60. I was solid. My dad my dad would go, "Why? You can do better." And I'm like, "But I don't need to write my final exam." Then the next year they put it up to 55, so I upped the effort just a tad.
There you go.
You know? So no, this marginally adequate is the best we're ever going to do.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
So what are you modeling?
Yeah, what are you modeling?
So I'm modeling the Union Pacific in Desoto, Missouri. In the early 1900s, it was the Iron Mountain, and then it was taken over by the Union Pacific. And then when Union Pacific bought out Missouri Pacific, it changed over to Missouri Pacific. And originally in the 1800s, there was a 33-stall roundhouse in DeSoto. Wow. And it was a engine house and everything like that. I believe in the 60s or 70s, that was all gone by then, and they built a car shops, and now they work on all auto wrecks there. So you can go into downtown DeSoto, and on one side of the street is all small old buildings, and then the other side of the street is the rail yard. So it's great for train watching. You can go and see tons of graffiti on these, decrepit auto racks, and then you can see rows of brand new shiny ones that are all refurbished, and it's pretty neat.
So are they just UP cars or the trailer train cars?
They are just UP cars.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
and this is this is in DeSoto, Missouri.
Yes,
just south of St. Louis, Missouri.
That is correct.
Have you been in St. Louis your whole life?
Yeah. I grew up in Jefferson County, which is right by DeSoto, in a small town called Cedar Hill, and lived in the city, lived in the county, lived all over this area.
Right.
But mostly here.
Okay. Now, are you building the layout, or are you just building equipment right now, or?
I'm building a layout. You can go to the Fountain City Railroad on Facebook, and you can look at my progress and look at some of the stuff I've done. It's a, work in progress, and I haven't really done anything on it in the last year or so.
What's it called? Fountain
City Railroad.
All right. And I don't recall you talking about this very much on the Dude show. How come?
I've talked about it a few times. Mainly because there's a lot of other cool stuff to talk about, but I have posted quite a few pictures and talked about a lot of things and buildings that I've built.
Wow. This is pretty impressive. You're doing
that bridge for your cover photo is pretty nice.
Yeah, that's Leitner Trestle. That's actually Ken Patterson's artwork there. I own the It's a Blackstone model layout, so it's the narrow gauge.
So what era is it? The layout you're building?
It's modern times. What I'm doing is I'm building everything modern as if the turntable and roundhouse was still there before it was converted into the auto rack yard. So I have it going.
I was just going to say, but the turntable's long gone now, right?
Correct. In real life it is, but on my model it will be there and functional.
Right, yeah.
That's going to be an impressive roundhouse when you get her done.
Yeah, holy man.
Yeah, I have servos and switches, so each one of the roundhouse doors will open up with a switch, and then you can pull your train out onto the roundhouse.
Holy mackerel.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is that clouds? Is that a whole bunch of clouds I see made on top?
It is. It is. And then I got the Broadway Limited Thunder and Lightning up there.
All right.
And I bought some fog lamps for a truck and hooked them into the system, so there's a ton of different light that'll come down when the thunderstorm hits.
How'd you come up with that idea?
I don't know. I saw it somewhere way back in the day. I mean, way back in the day somewhere.
So is it like the whole? See, I'm interrupting you, and that's rude.
No, go ahead.
No, it's rude. It's rude. I shouldn't. See, I could never. Do you think the dude had any idea when I was on the last show, and you guys kept referring to photos, and I kept going, I don't see any photos. What photos? I don't see any photos. Do you think he had? I knew you were getting the bit, but I didn't. I don't think he was understanding it at all.
I don't think so. Some things, especially, I have to say that when he's in work mode and it's that time, then he don't get nothing. He's got a one-track mind. So,
so Bruce, they were showing some models from Intermountain and things, and I knew that what they were talking behind the photos, right? And he was going to put the photos in later. But as they were talking about these photos, I would say, "What photos? I don't see any photos. What are you guys talking about? Where are these photos?" And Joshua was getting it, but it was going right past.
The other guys had the deer in the headlight look?
Yeah, the dude was going right past him.
Yeah, Ken's a blonde through and through.
But it's dyed, right? Nice. Like he's actually a real brunette.
No, he's a dirty blonde.
So these clouds, it looks like there's a large section of your layout that's covered with 3D clouds, like you've made it out of cotton, I'm assuming, is it?
Pretty much 3/4 of the layout is covered above with clouds, and they're low-hanging clouds because the thunderstorm's getting ready to come in.
Right.
And so the way that I made them was I took wire from coat hangers or whatever wire I had around and made like a skeletal structure, and then took the polyfill from Walmart and I stuffed it all in there and sprayed it with hairspray glue. And I flipped it upside down and then sprayed black spray paint and then flipped it right side up again. So the bottom of it is dark and heavy looking like it would be in a thunderstorm.
Right, yeah. And then you hung it up, and what a unique idea. That's one of the things about this.
When I first saw that, I was flashing back to the night of the fire in the house. Now that I know that it's clouds, I'm happy.
Yeah. Like Bruce thought you were reconstructing his house fire.
Yeah, if you look a little further down on that website, then you'll see an actual lightning where you can see the flashing and stuff. And then you can also see that on one of the sections of the layout, it's facing west. And I took rope lights and put them behind some foam that looked like a mountain to give it the illusion of a sunset.
Okay.
And that's another really neat effect that, I must have saw that in the early 90s in some Model Railroader magazine or something like that.
Yeah, I'm looking at the video. That's pretty impressive.
Where's the video? I got to see the video now. I'm not seeing the video. Where do I got to see? What date?
Lightning's flashing, the thunder's roaring.
But I'm looking at all the photos. But where would I see the video? Where is it?
Get out of the photos and go down to the video section.
Oh, okay. I'll get out of the photos and go down to the video section. You know what we need now, don't you, Bruce?
Elevator music?
Yeah. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, for sale. HON3 layout built by Ken Patterson. Please watch the video.
That's right. It's
Storm
a beautiful layout, too.
Storm is moving in. Okay, I'm watching this now. Yeah, wow. You're goofy. Buddy, you are goofy. How did you...
I'm a big nerd, huh?
So I don't think people really understand. Like, we've uncovered something here, Bruce. I don't think people, I certainly didn't understand myself, that you have this kind of audio technical background where you can do all this stuff.
Mm-hmm. I've worked at mainly country clubs before my SugarFire stint. And one of the country clubs was called the Missouri Athletic Club. And they have a couple different facilities, and one's a big old hotel from 1905. And they have a giant wedding banquet room, and all this audio visual stuff. So I would do audio visual,
like
it was
self-taught, or
I'm sorry,
self-taught or what?
Pretty much. I mean, when I was young, I played in a lot of bands, played a lot of music, did a lot of the sound stuff like that on my own and self-taught. And then pretty much. We're in a room and someone says, "Oh no, does anyone know how to set sound equipment?" And I was like, "Well, I do." And that's kind of how I started that gig, and just kept rolling from there. So
what did you what did you play in the band?
I play 6-string guitar, I play bass guitar, and a little mandolin.
Like a really tiny one?
Yep. Yep.
Oh my god! So you said
a big guy with a little guitar.
Well, I'm an idiot. I really am. I'm just an idiot. A little mandolin. Oh, was it a tiny one?
I thought it was funny.
I thought it was hilarious. I
thought it was funny.
I was rolling on the floor.
We'll let the listeners decide. Right into a Mother's Life.
We'll put a poll up on the
there you go,
the fans page when that comes out.
Yeah.
What did you
That's
think
a
of
great
Lionel's
idea.
Tiny mandolin?
We got a new puppy a few months ago, 3-4 months ago. And the other day, my wife asked me if I'd seen the dog bowl, and of course I replied, I didn't even know she did. Apparently she's got a 220 average.
Yeah.
Oh my God. He'll be here all week, folks.
That's right. Two shows on Saturday.
Yeah, 2 shows a night. So you were in a band long before. How old of a gentleman are you, Joshua?
Let's see. It's okay. My time, it's 8:30. At midnight, I will turn 45 years old.
Oh, really? You're a very youthful-looking 45.
Why, thank you very much.
Yeah. I would have never guessed. I would have had you. I had you pegged somewhere in the mid-30s.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's great.
I bet.
Yep, I'll be 45.
I'll bet the ladies love that.
Oh yeah.
So now we're talking. And
now let me ask a question. We got the birthday. How big is your layout?
So it's 21 foot by about 11 foot.
Okay.
But it kind of curves. It's completely 21 foot long, but at parts it's only 4 foot wide. Some parts 7-8 foot wide, all the way up to 11.
All right.
And it's in your home, like in your basement in your home or something?
It's in my friend Tim's basement.
Oh,
I live in a split level house with a 2-car garage, and I didn't have enough room for what I wanted to build. And my buddy Tim has a pool table in his basement, and he said, let's let's go ahead and let you build a layout there. So what I did was, when first initially wanting to build this layout, I wanted to do something different than I always had done in the past. So I integrated a bar into my layout, like a belly up drinking bar.
Okay.
So at one point, the train goes around the back of the bar and then comes around and runs on the bar top and then back into the rest of the layout. And the reason for doing that is, a lot of people who would come over and are not into trains, they don't even want to go over and look at the train. It's kind of a ooh, ah, and that's it. So I wanted to integrate a bar into the layout so people can go and, will interact with it a little more. Like I said, when you sit at the bar, a train will come right in front of you and I can have it stop and, go and do all these little things. And then I have different kind of action things that I have, like you push the button and the chickens start pecking in the backyard, or, different hands-on things to make it more interactive. That's what I wanted with my layout, is I wanted people that aren't necessarily into trains to be able to enjoy the layout. That's another big thing in my layout that I've done that not a lot of other people do, is I bought a bunch of the Carson RC cars from Europe. And so I have a bunch of road on my layout that you can drive more RC cars than you can trains.
Really? Is
Yeah.
there a
Because
track? Is there a track plan anywhere?
Well, there no actual track plan, but there is the main street of Desoto is all one long strip, and then I loop it around, and then you actually drive through the engine yard, and then loop back around.
Wow! Now,
so yeah, it's
this is all in your friend Tim's house. And does he know that you're doing this?
Oh yeah, he's like I said, he's not a train guy, but he likes to throw ideas out. So he gives me this, really crazy ideas, and I gently tell him why I can't do that.
No, so these are HO scale RC cars that you're driving around.
Correct. They're by a company named Carson, Carson, and I think the only place here in the Americas you can buy them is through eBay.
All right.
But they have, I have like 2 or 3 different VW buses. There's a Porsche, and then there's a couple like truck type vehicles with trailers that you can get as well. But they're neat, and they're all 1/87 scale, and they're really fun to drive.
Yeah, our friend Martin Jenkins has a bunch of HO scale RC cars, and
I've talked.
He gets his place in Japan, and he showed pictures of it. Those things. The engineering on these chassis is unbelievable.
The ones that Marty does, I've seen him, and I've talked to him many times about that, and it's just the engineering on those is uber amazing. The Carson cars are a little more, I don't want to say Hot Wheel-esque, but a little more kiddish. But they're still they pass. They pass for real cars on a layout.
A little more like Aurora HO scale slot car type things.
Yes, correct.
So if you type in Carson RC cars, it comes up carson-modelsport.com. How about that? Are you sure?
You got to do it on eBay.
Why do you got to do it on eBay?
You got to go to eBay and type, because that's the only place I can find them is through eBay.
Oh, but I went online and found carsonmodelsport.com.
Is that their boats?
It says Carson,
because they do a bigger scale boat.
It says RC cars and model cars, official Carson shop. But I'm assuming you already did that. I'm assuming you already did that. RC trucks, RC boats. Look at that. RC cars. Wow. 200. Well, they got 2,057 products. Are you sure Tim knows that you're doing this? I think you're the first guy ever that we've talked to where you're building the layout in somebody else's house. Did he leave?
Yeah. Hello?
Hello? Hello?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Hello?
Hello? Can he not hear us?
Okay, as long as you can hear me. It was cutting out for a minute.
Here they are, Carson RC in 1/87th scale. Boom, I found it.
That's what I'm talking about.
Well, and this isn't on eBay. This is just on their website. What are you talking about? You can only find them on. You can only find. They're not cheap though, eh?
Well, at the time when I bought them, I could only find them on eBay. So I'm glad you can find them on the regular internet now.
RC models, and so okay, these are independent. This isn't like that stuff we've seen. I've seen it train shows like NMRA National Train Show and that, where the cars are on some sort of magnetic track and they follow this magnetic track.
No. These are
drivable
these are
RC.
Completely radio controlled.
Wow. And 187th drivable RC cars, and it's only 195 euros for the VW bus, which is like what?
Yep.
How I don't know. What is the euro more than an American dollar, Bruce, or less?
I think it's more.
Okay, so it's probably like double. It's like $300-400 for an RC, a VW RC bus at 187th scale. Look at that. Huh.
Actually, it's about par. A euro is about $1.08 US. So
okay, so it's about $200.
Okay. Yeah,
$200 US for a VW bus with a controller and batteries and the whole 9 yards. Look at that.
And it's got a surfboard on top.
Oh yeah, it has a surfboard on top. And you actually
there's about 7 or 8 different kinds.
And you actually drive these things.
Yeah, just like a bigger RC car. Completely radio controlled. Turns left, right, forward, reverse. Has little headlights, little taillights, no blinkers.
Wow, what's the point then? There's no
what's the blinkers?
Right. Well, the ones that I've seen from Marty Jenkins, they have blinkers on them and a hood.
The ones Marty has have all sorts of things on them.
Yeah, those are really cool.
Isn't Marty? Like, what is he? The worldwide director at large?
He's the at-large worldwide director for the NMRA.
Who's the at-large director? The at-large director for North America?
Chris Palmero, I think is his name right now.
Oh, is there an election coming up?
I think later or early in the new year. Yes,
like early in 2024.
Yes.
Bruce. You should run for office for the North American at-large director.
Well, there you go.
I'd vote for you.
I'd vote for you for sure. There's 2 votes. You're off to the races.
I'm off to the races.
There you go. Well, let's push that, Bruce. What do you think? Are you in?
All right.
Let's try to for next time I mention it though on another show. Try to be just a tad more enthusiastic.
Okay.
So
I'm just drooling over the Flower Power RC bus here.
So I see one of these. I see one of these photos from February of 2020. It's early days on the layout. There's a Miller Genuine Draft light sign on the backdrop, but you're using foam for the base of the layout, and you got 2 sheets of foam. And the first place I heard of that was from our buddy David Hyde in Dallas, in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, Metroplex, and he uses double layer foam. Why do you use double layer foam?
I just like it because it reinforces. I feel like one layer of foam, if I'm going to move things around, one layer isn't thick enough, and I feel like that'll break or tear easy. So giving the 2 pieces together, and then I used a foam glue or a foam, I don't know, it's called the foam stuffer or something like that. But it'll stick 2 pieces of foam together perfectly, and it binds harder than the actual foam. So it gives it an extra layer of.
And what's it called? The foam stuff?
Yeah, I think it's called foam stuff. It has a applicator that you screw into the can. I saw it on What's New this week with Ken Patterson.
Oh, okay. So that's where you discovered it. Your internet's cutting out there.
segment.
Your internet's cutting out. All right. So he's having some issues there, Bruce.
Yes, he's in. Yeah.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Delicious things to eat.
The popcorn can't be beat. The sparkling drinks are just dandy. The chocolate bars and the candy. So let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Oh.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Oh, okay. I don't know why my internet's messing up.
Why aren't you?
I got full bars, yo.
Why aren't you at your own house doing this? You're a very
because it's my.
You're a very peculiar fellow. Sometimes.
Am I?
Well, not peculiar, but it's been very hard to arrange this, and now you're at somebody else's house doing it. Why can you not just sit still in your own house and do this interview?
I don't know. I can't sit still at all. It seems like I'm always on the move. It seems like.
So all right. So the question I was going to ask you, I remember one of the questions I was going to ask you. You're 45, so the internet probably showed up in your life around the age of, in your late teens, I'm guessing.
Yeah, mid-teens.
Yeah. So have you noticed? Like you talk about, and I mean, I beat it to death. I absolutely beat it to death on this podcast about how much the digital media and the digital age has improved every model railroader's life on the planet. And have you noticed, like, as the years have gone by, that, I mean, was it meeting Ken Patterson was the well, of course, you met Ken Patterson because of this podcast. I discovered that, Bruce, on the last What's Neat This Week show that I was on, that I was responsible for, like, I was thinking I should get some sort of finder's fee or something, shouldn't I?
There you go. Why not?
Well, I don't see any reason why not. I think it'd be.
Let me. The check is in the mail.
Yeah, well, not you shouldn't be paying me. The dude should be paying me. So yeah, it was because he was listening to the podcast that Joshua. I don't think we should blow by that too lightly. I think that's something. I think we got to get Ken on the podcast, or get him. Or I got to get back on the show and say, wait a minute here. We need to kind of establish this is a pretty big deal in the.
I think so.
In the world of What's Neat This Week. Do you think Ken's ever listened to the podcast?
I think he listened to like 10 seconds of it. I know for a fact because I played 10 seconds of it for him once. So other than that, I'm not sure. He can't sit down for very long. So
I know he often calls me late at night.
Yes,
because we're both night owls. So he calls me late at night.
Yeah, when I first met him, he wasn't getting up until like 4 or 5 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
So
that's our buddy Ken McQuarrie, but he's usually up by noon. Ken's usually up by noon.
Yeah.
Okay, so I wanted to talk to you about the St. Louis RPM, and like 3,000 people converge on Ken's house.
Yeah, pretty much. He has a big backyard that overlooks the Mississippi River and a lot of Illinois, and it's just a great place to hang out, and it's kind of a mecca for model railroaders to come.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of like a must. Our buddy Bernard Helen from miniprints.com. That's miniprints.com. He's 3D. He scans people. He creates 3D prints. You're starting to do that now, aren't you?
Me, I am printing SugarFire smokehouse buildings. That's what I'll be officially launching them sometime at the end of this year or early next year. I wanted to do it last year, but life gets in the way quite a bit. But yeah, I took the measurements from. We have a SugarFire smokehouse in St. Charles, Missouri, and it's an old car hop style. So I took the measurements of that and got with a friend of mine, Joseph Blivens, and he does a lot of 3D printing, and so he printed me out some SugarFires, and I'll be putting those on the market here sooner or later.
Yeah, because it's called Barton Miniatures or something.
It is, and you can go to bartonminiatures.com and check out the website.
Oh, there's a website?
There is. bartonminiatures.com, all one word.
Here we go.
But you should see my ugly mug on there.
bartonminiatures.com. Okay, wow, I think I got it first try. Holy mackerel, look at that. Who made your website?
I did.
Why are people not made more aware of all your skills and things that you're able to do? I don't understand.
I don't know. I've done tons of stuff in my lifetime. I was so I've always cooked. I've always been a chef. But other than that, I've had tons of hobbies. For 6 years on the side of being a chef, I was a wedding DJ. And so I officiated the weddings. I'm ordained, and I did all the music and the cutting of the cake and all that kind of stuff. So I was really into that for quite a while, and that was a great passion for me because I like to entertain. But I did that. I'm an artist, and I've used all different kinds of mediums, from wood to metal to glass. I'm a very artistic person, just in general.
Right.
So I've done a lot with myself.
And is it because you have trouble holding a job, or?
Sometimes. I mean, it kind of depends. Either you really like me or you really, really hate me. So it just depends.
I find that hard to believe that anybody would dislike. So what are you doing now? Because you're not with SugarFire anymore, are you?
I'm not. I started a consulting company. So now I go to businesses, restaurants, and bars that need my help, and we sit down and find out what their issues are, and I try and give them a way to get back on track.
Really? Is that actually a business?
Yeah, it's a restaurant consulting.
Okay, well, I don't know. I'm not a restaurant consultant. I thought.
Yeah. It's
so. How long you been doing that?
I've been doing that for about a year now. I'm on my third client, and he's a very lucrative business owner, and opened up a bar about 6 years ago, and always wanted to have a restaurant with the bar. So he took $40,000 and added on a kitchen, but he had no clue on how to run a restaurant or write a menu or anything. So he hired me, and I came in, and we sat down and talked, figured out what he wanted, what he didn't want on a menu, talked about space, talked about what he would need, and then I wrote him a menu and organized the kitchen and ordered everything that he would need, and then taught his employees how to execute the menu. And that's pretty much what I do, or what I did with the first client. And now the second client that I'm working with as of right now, she owns a bed and breakfast, and she wants to have a small restaurant in the ground floor of the bed and breakfast, and then she has a full basement, and she wants to turn that into a speakeasy with little appetizers and more refined drinks. So that's my next task.
Bruce, are you hearing that weird clicking sound?
There's some weird clicking. I think aliens are coming in and shooting phasers or something. I'm not sure.
So how do these
Could very well be? And
how do these people find you?
Through friends. I haven't done any advertising. I haven't done any publishing of what I'm doing now. It's pretty much when I'm halfway through something, another call comes in. So I'm just kind of letting it ride like that right now.
Wow.
Good deal.
Did the microphone move or something? Because now we're hearing this kind of odd clicking sound. There's a clicking sound. Do you hear it, Bruce? Do you hear that clicking sound?
Yeah, I do. It's kind of, yes,
it's
it is.
Clicking
it's
sound.
Like
on my end?
No, it's on my end.
It's not my end.
It's only when
Lionel,
you're...
quit with this clicking, will you? Come on.
Yeah, knock off the clicking.
Let me mute, see if it's me.
We're positive it's you. We already know it's you. It's not us.
Yes. Our highly detailed or highly technical staff, capable technical staff, is determined you're the issue.
Yeah, use some of that audio technical knowledge and make it stop clicking, will you?
Yeah, but not with computers. I'm a computer illiterate. But if you want me to hook a PA system up, I can do that real easy.
Okay, all right. So this Barton miniatures. So this is the only thing you're going to have. Is the SugarFire is the only thing that's for sale right now? The smoke.
That'll be the first thing that comes out. I have a couple more ideas, but I'm kind of keeping those close to the chest as of right now.
Okay. You have what? You have about 14 or 15 things going at the same time?
Oh, I do. It's horrible. I can barely keep track of all of them.
And you're building your layout in Tim's house. I'm stuck on that. I'm fascinated by this.
What happens if Tim moves?
Yeah.
Ooh, jeez.
What if
I hope he doesn't.
What happens if you and Tim have a little tiff?
I guess then I got to burn railroad outside of his house the next day. Who knows? I hope that never happens.
How long have you known
him?
How long have
I've known him for 20 years almost.
And how did that conversation start? Where one day you're saying, "Hey, can I build a layout in your house?"
Well, so him and I met. I was working at a place called Greenbrier Hills Country Club, and I was the executive sous chef. And he came in and
time out here. How do you end up as leaving that job as the executive sous chef?
Sous chef. The executive chef that I worked under had left. He went to retire, and usually with at a place like that, pretty much all of the upper management chefs will be terminated by the new chef when he comes in. And so, he wants his own people that doesn't know the old chef stuff because he wants to bring in all the new stuff and yada, yada. So with me knowing that, I left there and looked for another job and became the sous chef at the Missouri Athletic Club.
How many jobs do you think you've had?
30, 40 altogether. Cooking jobs, I've had probably 7 or 8.
Okay.
But like I said, I've always done something different.
Yeah.
As well. Right.
But you're not married, are you?
Nope. Happily divorced for 16 years.
Oh, divorced for 16 years. All right. So,
yes.
So what's your favorite? So I'm assuming you've been a model railroader since you were like 5, like the rest of us, or like most of us. Not everybody has been that way, but the majority of model railroaders have been model railroaders since they were, 4 or 5 years old, whether it be boys or girls.
So when I was born, my grandfather bought me a pillow that was 4 individual train cars held together with buttons. So that was my very first day of trains. Boom. When I was 1, my dad's best friend bought me this book, and I still have the book to this day, but I can't remember the name offhand. But the book stood out in my head because it had a giant semaphore on the top that you could change from red to yellow to green. And it had all these amazing different kinds of trains. And that was my first real memory of a train, was that book. And I was just hooked from there on.
Interesting. Do we have any other questions, Bruce? Bruce, take me down an avenue that will stimulate my mind.
Let's get back to where we were banting about the idea of an AML barbecue sauce.
I don't think. Are you still cooking now that you've left SugarFire? That's not your main gig. I
cook every single day. I love to cook. I love to create with food. It will always be my passion. Right now, I'm remodeling my kitchen, and I cannot wait to start cooking. I haven't cooked in almost a month in my kitchen, and I'm ready to get back to it.
So why aren't you building this layout in your own house?
Because I just don't have the room. Like I said, my house is a split level house. So when you walk in the front door, you have stairs in front of you to go upstairs, and you have stairs in front of you to go downstairs. So I just don't have the room to get what I want in there. You have to have big turns for big boys, and those big long trains, and I just didn't have room in my own house. So Tim said, I got this whole basement. You're over here a lot anyways, hanging out, so just build it here.
But you haven't worked on it for like a year or so. Correct.
Well, October of last year, my father passed away, and I've been taking care of. So I bought the house from them about 10 years ago, and they moved into a condo, and then they decided they hated the condo. So my stepdaughter was getting ready to go off to college, and yada yada yada. So I said, move back to the house, and so they paid the electric and the cable bill, and I paid everything else. And the house is so big that we never saw each other.
Wait a minute. The house is so big you never saw each other, but there's not enough room for a model railroad?
Well, because my parents have a room down.
There's something. You're holding out on us here somehow. There's something.
Am I?
Yeah, there's something not adding up. The house is so big you don't see each other. I owned a split level and I had a layout in it.
Well, I mean, I know, but I have a big layout.
In Tim's house.
Correct.
Where the pool table was.
It still is.
Oh, so is the layout built over the pool table or something?
No, it's next to it.
Oh, okay.
It's a really big basement. You can see it in those pictures on Fountain City Railroad.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. Yeah, I'm looking at it for sure. I just Bruce, have you ever come across a situation where somebody's building a house, a layout in somebody else's house?
Not that I'm aware of.
This benchwork you're building, you could put a full size 1-to-1 locomotive on this benchwork. Holy mackerel!
Yeah.
Where did you get the idea? I mean, it's built with what, 2x3s or 2x4s?
2x4s.
What?
2x4s were cheap back then.
And it looks like there's runners. It looks like there's 2x4 runners underneath or something.
Yeah, for storage. Oh. I got the ideas for those. That's how Ken builds some of his layouts and some of his modules. So I took the same. All those have wheels on them, so I can move them around when needed.
Oh, okay. I see that. I see the wheels now.
Yeah,
but it looks pretty deep here at some points. Like it looks like the one I'm looking at is from February 1st, 2020, and the layout looks pretty deep at this kind of under the Miller Genuine Draft sign.
Oh yeah, yep, that is.
How deep is it there?
Right there, I think a 7 or 8 foot. It goes all the way to 11 foot.
Wide?
Yes.
Wow. Well, how do you access parts of it that are 11 feet wide?
Well, like I said, it pulls apart in certain spots. You can move it in different spots, and the track will come apart in certain spots, so you can get to the back of the layout.
Okay. How often do you do that?
Every once in a while, when needed, when something derails, which is not often.
2x4s. Holy mackerel! This construction looks
bulletproof.
It's bulletproof for sure. I've never.
It certainly be solid.
Yeah. Holy mackerel! Are you looking at that picture, Bruce? Those pictures?
I'm stunned. I guess.
Yeah, that would be a word. I'm stunned.
Yeah,
it's so big. But your house, where you're living is so big you never see anybody. You haven't been smoking the happy grass, have you?
I cannot comment on that right now.
You can neither confirm nor deny.
Yeah, you can neither confirm nor deny.
That's right. I plead the fifth. 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth.
There you go.
So you and Mike Budde came to our AML barbecue.
I did, and that was the funnest afternoon I've had in a while.
You were only there.
Great.
How long did it take you to get up there from St. Louis?
You was only there like an hour and a half.
A couple hours.
Yeah, you said 3.
I was there for 2 hours.
And it took you like 3 hours to get there or something.
Yeah, something like that.
You drove all that way and only stayed for 2 hours?
Yeah.
I mean,
It was fun, though.
You made an impression on it. Everybody's like, hey, Josh and Mike are here. And then everybody's going, where did Josh and Mike go? And I'm like, I don't know. They left. But they just got here, everybody says.
I took Mike out, and he had to be home by a certain time. So that was the only stimulation. So,
and I see,
he is married.
And you're not.
Yeah, that's right.
But his wife seems like I met his wife at a St. Louis Cardinals game. Kansas City Royals game, and the St. Louis Cardinals were there. That's what it was. Yeah. Mike is. So you and Mike ever do any model building together? Because Mike's always got something to show on the What's Neat This Week show.
Oh. Hey, Lionel, hold on just a second.
You know what would be a good thing to do right now, Lionel?
I have no idea. I'm lost.
Mention our sponsor.
Oh yeah, Rapido Trains.
Your fast track to model railroading fun.
If it's N, if it's H-O, the fast track is Rapido.
Maybe we could just do that over and over again for the next 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Do you think
play 10 minutes of Rapido jingles?
Yeah. Do you think he knew that we were going to be recording a podcast tonight?
I don't know.
Maybe he thinks this is like the pre-show interview or something.
Well, he'll be surprised when he gets the link to it.
Surprise.
That benchwork, I can't believe it.
I know, this benchwork is, for those of you who can't see it, go to Fountain City Railroad on Facebook, and the pictures we're looking at are from February of 2020. And holy mackerel, it's like solid, and wide. Man, you could put a full size,
some heavy duty industrial wheels under it.
I know. I wonder if Mike knows this is going on.
In the back.
What happened?
Sorry about that. I had to run to the little boys' room real quick.
Did you not know we were going to have a podcast?
Yeah, but I just drank too many cups of Earl Grey tea, so I had to.
Oh, do you drink?
I apologize.
Do you drink tea?
I do. I'm a big tea drinker.
Okay.
I quit drinking soda about 7 or 8 months ago.
Now, when you say
cold turkey,
so when you say big tea drinker, like, are you bigger than most tea drinkers, or?
I mean, I probably drink, 6 or 7 cups of tea.
That's another Lincoln Homer. He smacked that one over the fence.
Yeah, I went right over my head.
Ken's not there now, is he?
No, he's not.
You and Mike Budde went out to some YouTube meet and greet thing out in Colorado there not that long ago.
Yeah, that was May. That was fantastic.
Did his wife? Well, okay. Now here's what I don't understand. If you go out to do something with Michelle, who was hosting that? Was it Michelle Kemperman that was hosting it, or what?
Yeah. Yes. Well, I believe technically it was Sparky 107 and John Abaticola and Michelle Kemperman. I think them three were hosting it.
Okay, so when you go out for something that with those people, Mike can stay away from his wife, but when you come to our barbecue,
well, the barbecue, I knew about it probably an hour before I went to bed that night before is when I realized because I saw a picture of Bruce Kelly on the bus, and I'm like, oh no, that's this weekend. And so, like I said, it was 11:30 or midnight when I got on Facebook and saw it, and it was too late to call Mike. So I called him at like 8:30 in the morning, and I said, "What are you doing today?" And he's like, "Well, I can go, but I got to be back by this certain time."
Oh, I see.
So when we went to Colorado, we had a week or so to plan.
And what was that? Was that your first time out to Colorado?
No, I've been there a couple other times, but it was my first time for doing the model railroading stuff.
Okay, and was it your first time to Greeley, to Michelle's? Let's, from now on, let's just call it Michelle's place.
Yeah,
yeah, it pretty much is. So,
yeah.
It was my first time officially to there. My first time ever to Cheyenne the same weekend, and that was great. I got to meet Ed Dickens, and they took us around the big boy and around 844, and that was, that's a bucket list thing for me. So,
and we should interview Ed Dickens someday, Bruce.
Absolutely.
Add him to the list.
Yeah, that'd be great.
We'll put him on the list. We're on page 925 of the list now.
Especially, Bruce, if you get elected as the North American Director at Large for the NMRA, that's going to give me an in.
There you go.
You don't sound like you're very happy that I've come up with this idea.
No, I think it's a wonderful idea.
Okay. You'll get free trips to the NMRA conventions.
That's right. But you'll have to work them all.
And I'll be able to irritate the living crap out of you talking about it.
Well, you irritate the living crap out of you anyhow, so what's different?
Oh, yeah, right. I forgot.
Yeah.
I know
That's all we have for this show. The last one, the mailboy.
So, yeah, what was that like? What was that like doing that YouTube thing?
That was really fun. I got to meet a ton of people that I knew through either podcasts or the internet, but never really met face to face. That was the first time I met Bernard Helen as well. So it was really fun. I had a really great time, and like I said, I got to mark a bunch of stuff off my bucket list. That was great.
Did Bernard scan you?
Not then. He scanned me a few weeks later. Or a few months later when he came down for the RPM meet here in St. Louis.
All right. So there's a Joshua Barton mini-me out there somewhere.
There sure is. And a Ken Patterson and a James Regier and a Mike Budde.
I would have paid money to see the dude being scanned. I can't imagine.
Oh, it was horrible. He could barely stand still. It was so funny.
I know. Yeah. Like I was going to say, I can't imagine he'd be able to stand still long enough to do it.
Yeah, he barely could.
How do you think this interview's going?
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
He's not asking me because I know the answer.
Okay, I think it's marginally adequate.
Oh, there you go. That's perfect.
There you go.
That's exactly what we're going for.
He's listened before.
Perfect.
Yeah. Well, we know that Joshua listens to the podcast.
Yes.
And loves the podcast. So that's
absolutely.
I know. It's I just found a photo of Missouri Pacific 4817 in McNeil, Texas, and for a second there I was wondering if that was you standing on the locomotive, but I don't believe it is.
No.
That Fountain City Railroad logo looks very similar to the What's Neat This Week logo.
It's almost just like it, except for there's a giant bird in there instead of a guy with two pairs of glasses.
Yeah. And who designed that logo? I forget.
That would be Bill Sampson.
And how do we know Bill Sampson?
He has the Sioux line.
Oh, William Sampson. Yes.
William Sampson.
Yeah, Bill.
He helped
Fred the Sock.
He helped with Fred the Sock.
Yes.
That is correct, yeah. And helped with the What's Neat This Week logo. And he actually did a bunch of logos for us in the beginning. Had one for me, one for Mike, one for Daniel.
Yeah, he finished Fred the Sock. He's the Fred the Sock guy. I could not get anybody to understand what it is I wanted, and I asked him, and like an hour later it was done.
He's really great at that kind of stuff.
He's really talented. Not so good at answering messages, but excellent at creating logos and characters.
That's true. That's very true.
Messages are not his. But then the email is not my strong suit either. If you want to get a hold of me, you got to text me.
He has that show, and then he's got a wife and kids. I understand.
Absolutely.
We're all busy people.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, your microphone's clicking, so I think we will stop this for this time, and then we'll get you back on the show another time to get an update.
All right.
Sounds
great.
There's a lot of clicking. There's a lot of clicking happening. But
I'll have different audio stuff next time we talk.
You said that last time.
I know, but I bought new stuff, but it's all at home, and I'm not at home, so.
You did know we were going to do this interview, right?
Yeah, we did.
Are you mad at me or something?
No, not at all. I love you to pieces.
Oh, okay. How How many do you own Rapido trains?
Your fast track.
I do not
model railroading fun. Oh,
Yeah.
I don't own the company, but I own lots of their trains.
Oh, there you go. What is the most fascinating thing that's happened on the What's Neat This show? Because you've been on there pretty steady for the last 6 years. I mean, the time I got the Ken's, man, that's what's going to happen the next time I go to Ken's? And last time you brought a whole bunch of food from SugarFire, a place you used to work, another place you used to work. And
right,
what's going to happen the next time I show up at Ken's? What are we going to do about the food then?
Well, I'm just going to grab some more SugarFire.
But it won't be anything you made.
Oh, that's right. But I taught all those people how to do it. So if they're doing it right, it's going to be just like I did.
All right.
And if it's not going to be right, I'll talk to the owners.
Okay. So what's like the most interesting thing that's happened or you've seen or whatever you've been pretty like regular on the show for like what, the last 4 like you met him 6 years ago. Like, have you been on the show regularly for the last 6 years? The Dude Show?
Semi-regularly. I think the biggest and most prolific thing that I've been a part of on the show specifically was we did an interview with Paul Lally he was the director for the Mr. Rogers show.
Oh, yeah?
I want to say it's episode 96 or 97, something like that. But, I grew up with Mr. Rogers. That show really resonated with me, and to have him on the show was deeply touching. He talked about Fred Rogers quite a bit, and I just, when we talked to him, I felt the love that you got from watching that show as a child. It was very heart-wrenching for me. That was my favorite show.
All right, we're going to stop now because your microphone is clicking for something. Do you hate me? Is that why you're not doing it at your house where you got your good equipment?
No, I'm sorry. I had to come to Raina's for my birthday, and yeah, I thought this would be just fine, but apparently it's not. So
you're mad at me, aren't you? You're doing this on purpose. Come on, Joshua.
No, I'm not.
It's a good thing. Hey, Bruce, it's a good thing we're not sponsored by Rapido Trains.
Your fast track to model railroading fun.
Rapido Trains, your fast track to model railroading fun.
Oh, yeah, we still are, aren't we? Maybe not after. Maybe not after.
We'll have to have a talk with Jason after this one.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jason. Please forgive me.
Yeah, sorry, Jason. My phone's ringing now. Oh, it's Jason now. He's on the phone.
Oh no! I don't want him to yell at me.
Yeah. Well, there you go. All right, Bruce. Can you give out our email address?
Yes, please send us an email and let us know how this one went, because we're always interested in what you think. Send us an email at modelerslife@gmail.com. That's modelerslife with one L. modelerslife@gmail.com.
And if you didn't catch that email address, if you go to our website, modelerslife.com. Is it it's a modelerslife.com. Yeah. 9 years. 9 years. And this is the best I can do. If
Practice makes perfect.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah. And what is this? A scrimmage? This is a preseason.
I guess, yes.
This is a preseason. This is a preseason scrimmage. Have you ever
Special
been
teams drills?
Yeah, exactly. Have you ever been to a St. Louis Blues game?
I have.
Good.
Yep, many times.
All right, attaboy. Who's your favorite all-time?
I've never seen him won, though.
Have you? Who's your favorite all-time St. Louis Blue?
Brett Hull.
There you go. Good choice, buddy. And if you didn't catch our email address, if you go to our website, amodelerslife.com, and you scroll down just a little bit, you're going to see a picture of the moderately agitated mailboy in a particularly agitated state. And if you just click on that picture, the email address will be filled in for you, and all you got to do is fill in your text and hit send, and we'll get that email from you.
Nothing could be easier.
Yeah.
Well, maybe, but
nice.
It's pretty easy.
Yeah. And Joshua, I'm sure you know this, but I'm going to tell you anyways. If you enjoyed this show today and you would like twice as much podcasting a week, do you know what you can do?
you can go to Patreon and look up A Modeler's Life.
That's right. You can go either right to patreon.com or on our website. Also scroll down a little bit and boom, there's a picture or there's a link to Patreon. And just for a few cents a day, you can get twice as much podcasting a week. And on the Patreon, you're a Patreon member, aren't you?
I sure am.
I thought you were. And why wouldn't you be? Why wouldn't anybody be? Why wouldn't anybody?
I know. $10 and you get a free shirt every couple years or so.
Every year. It's supposed to be every year. I'm just bad at it. Okay.
Right. Nothing wrong with that.
Get off my back, will you, Joshua? Come on, Barton. Get off my back. I'm slowly catching up, though. Did you hear about that? I'm going to use the pandemic excuse for like the next 10 years.
That's right. Supply chain problems.
Yeah, it's all supply chain problems.
Right. It sure is.
Oh, yeah. Joshua, have you ever wanted a T-shirt with a hot dog on it?
Yeah, of course. Who doesn't?
Well, duh.
Unless there's ketchup on there.
Yeah, exactly. If you go to Midwest Model Railroad and their URL is midwestmodelrr.com, and you go scroll across the navigation bar to Other and click on the drop-down menu, you'll see AML Shop. And if you go into the AML Shop, boom, you're in a wonderland of hats, hoodies, T-shirts, mugs, whatever you could possibly need. And in there, you're going to find a T-shirt with a hot dog on it.
That is awesome.
With only mustard, no ketchup. Because right. After the age of 8, you should never put ketchup on your hot dog.
True that.
Ask the case, okay. Bruce, if you ever did become the at-large director for North America, that could be one of the things. You could put that in the bylaws.
We would welcome anybody who wants ketchup on their hot dogs because there's nothing wrong with that.
Have we covered everything, Bruce?
I believe so. We got the email address, we got the website, we got the Patreon, we got the T-shirts at MidwestModelRR.com.
We made
that's it.
We made Jason Tron mad.
Should we mention him one more time?
No, I think we're good.
Okay.
You mean Rapido Trains?
Your fast track to model railroading fun.
Rapido Trains, your fast track to model railroading fun.
You should never see. Ken's got like 20 sponsors. I got one. I can only handle one at a time.
Ken takes like the first 5 minutes of the show to go through all the sponsors.
First 7 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. And bye. He's so serious. We got to get this guy to loosen up somehow. Next time I'm on the show, it's just I'm going to be relentless at getting him to loosen up.
You should come in person. Yeah. And that way we can really get them loosened up. So.
All right. There's no happy grass involved in the taping of that show, I hope.
I cannot tell a lie, so I'm just not going to talk.
You're going to get neither confirm nor deny. How would you describe the Patreon channel? We describe it as kind of like our down home front porch part of the podcast.
Yeah, it's a little more, I don't know, homey.
Yeah.
A little more in depth. Yeah.
Yeah. There's
these Monday shows kind of just reel you in, but the really good content's on Patreon.
There you go.
That a boy.
Now you're getting it. We gotta have you on more. Only this next time, be where your good stuff is, will you? For crying out loud.
All right. That sounds good. And it won't be my birthday. So yeah. I'll make sure and do that.
Happy birthday.
Yes. Happy birthday.
Much.
I love you, Joshua. All right. I think that's it. Are you okay? Now, Joshua, at the end of the show, at the appropriate moment, what I need you to say is happy rails to you. The key here is there's no singing. There's no dancing. There's no kind of interpretation because you're a creative guy and creative people like to interpret things and give it their own twist. I don't want your twist. I just want you to do it. Well, Joshua, as we close the barn doors on another episode of A Modeler's Life and the sun slowly sets in the back 40, I guess there's nothing else left to do except for you to say
happy rails to you.
While in Busted Knuckle, guests of a Modeler's Life podcast stay at the Casa del Sol Motor Court and Inn, where late-night dancing at the Rumba Room is a magical event to be experienced.
It's another Lincoln Homer.
That was beautiful.
Beautiful. Brings a tear to my eye.
Me too. I'm getting kind of choked up. He did so well.
It is.
I practiced that in the mirror for like 6 years. So
Just on the off chance you might get on the show.